It goes back to sort of the points earlier around businesses coming in and setting up shop on Hedera and sort of the greenfield opportunity that exists.
Brady, I'm sure you're excited to dive into it. This week we've had a lot of exciting developments. So, what do you have for us?
That's right. Yeah, the past week and a half or so in Hedera land has been incredibly exciting. We had Genfinity doing a all hands sort of deal with a number of ecosystem community members, everyone jumping on, sort of talking about the long trudge, I think, through the bear market, everyone continuing to build, and feeling almost like that was a payoff in a way with all of the recent activity and developments. And that's the broader market, as well as a lot of what we've seen for Hedera in particular. And yeah, here to give a quick update with regards to DeFi metrics. Obviously, with the market changes that we've seen for Hedera in particular, that has a direct impact on the DeFi ecosystem. And so, we're going to see some pretty drastic changes with the DeFi ecosystem. Probably not something that is sustainable in this very moment. Hopefully, it's a continued long-term sustainability. But in terms of like the massive push that's taken place, it was very quick, all at once, and very positive. So yeah,
Yeah.
we can jump into it.
Well, the HBAR ran up, and what you would expect to see is a spike and then a consolidation. And it's important where that consolidation is taking place. Right now, it's taking place just over 12 cents, which I really think is pretty constructive from a technical standpoint.
Yeah, we were just talking about this before jumping on here. It was cool to see that this feels sustained in the sense that, like you said, hit 12 cents. It's continuing to sort of stay there. It wasn't just like a huge spike and a drop off. And from a ecosystem perspective, the Hedera network, any public blockchain network, is an economy. And when an economy is thriving, businesses want to come and set up shop in that economy. Participants want to come in and participate in that economy. And so as you start to see, things like we've seen over the last like week and a half or so, the biggest thing that I see is like, yes, price action is great. Retail investment and institutional investment even is really great too. But the bigger thing I think is that it's this greenfield opportunity for new businesses, new developers to come in and set up shop in a place where they feel like they can make money, which is, at the end of the day, these again, these public blockchains are economies in many ways, with national currencies in a sense. And so if the national currency is doing well, I think people are more likely or higher propensity to want to come in and participate. And we have a lot of gaps to fill. So, more people coming in is great.
Agreed.
Cool. Well, why don't we dive into it? So, as we did on the last show with regards to DeFi Corner, jumping into some of the key health metrics for the DeFi ecosystem on Hedera. The last update that we did was on November 7th. So this is just, a couple weeks out from that date. And we'll continue to try to keep a regular cadence on these and actually grow out the way that we're presenting these metrics as well. So you'll notice from last time, we didn't have all of the metrics having a growth rate. There was only that for a couple of them. So we've added growth rates to a number of these. And I think as time goes on, trying to show this progress maybe broken out a little bit more. So there's going to be maybe some graphs that we'll see for some of this, but we're starting with a minimum viable product here with regards to DeFi ecosystem metrics. But DeFi TVL, we're sitting at about 165.8 million. Relative to last time, it's up by around 123%. As you alluded to earlier, the rise in the price of HBAR contributes to the US dollar value of TVL. So yes, we did see the addition of TVL in terms of assets in general, but what we also saw is a larger impact, I think, due to price. And so that's not just from the HBAR price perspective, but also the rise in price of all of the other assets and tokens on Hedera that sort of follow that price trajectory. So we've doubled, if not more, on the TVL front, which is awesome to see. Obviously, when there's a lot of market activity, you do end up seeing a lot of trading that takes place. Trading volume went up by 300 and almost 320% on decentralized exchanges. Primarily, a lot of that was captured by Saucer Swap.
Impressive.
So we're sitting at about nearly $190 million in trading volume just within this past week. So stablecoin liquidity, there has been minting of USDC on Hedera and fairly substantial amounts of it. So last time we presented here, it was around $10 million in USDC liquidity. We're up around 32% now, sitting at almost $15 million in stablecoin liquidity. Not only that, but it's stablecoin liquidity that is also being supplied to the DeFi ecosystem. So we're up about 50% in terms of stablecoin total value locked. So that's USDC that is supplied as liquidity into liquidity pools in SaucerSwap, in Bonzo Finance, HSuite, HeliSwap, the gauntlet of DeFi protocols on Hedera. That's up again around 50%. So that is great to see. That really is an indicator that stablecoins from a liquidity perspective are more accessible to DeFi ecosystem participants, which is what, exactly what we want to see. Hopefully that trend continues. I know that with, bridging coming online soon, some of the initiatives for bridging is going to be around stablecoin liquidity. There's also some on-ramp providers like Braille, XYZ that are doing some things around stablecoin liquidity as well. So really hope to continue to watch this trend grow.
Brady, real quick, we saw for a long time we hovered around 9 million as far as USDC liquidity on Hedera. That actually dropped down to about 7 a few weeks ago, and we've seen this significant increase. Do you think that is from Braille, or do you know where it's being minted from?
So I actually don't know where that's being minted from. One thing that I do want to check is there's an ecosystem member on X named Rapunzel, and they have created a stablecoin dashboard that starts to sort of dive into some of the specifics around stablecoins. And I think they may have some details as part of that dashboard in terms of where that minting is coming from. I'm not 100% certain at this point, though. At the amounts that it's done and given the accessibility points that exist for minting stablecoin liquidity, my guess would be, market makers or possibly foundations or Hedera itself, but really just speculating on that front. It's really the amounts is sort of what indicates to me that it's more institutional rather than, retail.
Regardless, it's a good trend to see.
Yeah, no doubt. And this is the Hedera DeFi Plus ecosystem update. So as part of DeFi Plus, we are including some information about the NFT ecosystem. The NFT ecosystem market cap has substantially risen by around 161%. Sitting at $66.7 million. This NFT ecosystem market cap is a reflection of the total value of the NFT economy that exists on Hedera. And then actually, I think I had skipped over token project circulating supply market cap, which has risen 106% and is sitting at $2.25 billion now. That is similar to the NFT ecosystem market cap. That is the, tokens that exist on Hedera that are fungible and exist in SaucerSwap and other DEX liquidity pools, basically an aggregate figure of the value of tokenized assets that are fungible assets available in the Hedera ecosystem. And yeah, that's risen substantially as well. The 30-day NFT ecosystem sales volume is at about $868,000. This was a pretty significant rise as well. One of the projects that I was really impressed by recently was Dead Pixels Ghost Club. They released some new functionality for their NFTs that were very unique and exciting. It takes advantage of a verifiable random number generator on Hedera and some new functionalities that are baked into Centex to allow for what's called forever mints.
We covered it last week, yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect, awesome. Well, so yeah, if you're watching, definitely go back and check out Forever Mints. One of the coolest innovations that I think I've seen, and it reminds me a lot of the Pokemon trading card game, being able to open up packs and have sort of a random selection of cards, or in this case, Dead Pixel NFT be given to you. And from like an economic standpoint and like revenue generation standpoint for an NFT project, that's economic sustainability for NFT projects, I think, is a little bit rare to see. if you're an NFT project, you kind of have to just like keep minting and minting more and more, and you're sort of diluting the brand and the number of NFTs in circulation. And they figured out this really cool way to be able to sort of recycle the NFTs in a sort of buyback fashion. So yeah, when I saw that, I was very impressed and blown away.
Yeah, it's true innovation. The other thing about that $868,000 number over the past month, the vast majority of that I assume is going to be on Centex. And I'm not sure what their fee is, if it's 1%, 2%, it's fairly low regardless. But when you're talking about that on about $1 million, you're talking about $10,000 or $20,000. That starts to make Centex look viable as a business.
Absolutely, yeah. And going back to the point before about, these public blockchain networks being economies and businesses that are setting up shop and needing to generate revenue and become economically sustainable. Centex is one of those. NFT marketplaces in general are one of those businesses. And it's great to see. We want to see businesses generating revenue on the network. Centex is one of them. And so, for them, trading volume is important key metric for them to be able to generate revenue. Like you said, even at those low percentage fees at volumes that are this high is great. So liquid staking APY using Stater Labs with HBAR X, it's sitting at about 4.84% now. That's gone up, a couple of points of a percentage point. And then native staking APY on Hedera sitting at about 0.12%, which is still substantially low relative to some of the other networks that we see. And then diving into some of the key updates across the ecosystem. So starting with Bonzo Finance, there is an upcoming NFT sale. It's the second NFT sale that Bonzo Finance is performing. And that's the ability to get some new NFTs that are being minted with community and points-based utility. So details on that are going to be announced pretty soon. And then just recently, TVL on Bonzo Finance has surpassed the 10 million mark, which was awesome to see. Again, part of that is related to the rise in the HBAR price as well as token prices, but also just continuing deposits that are happening in Bonzo Finance, with borrowing going live as well within the next week or two. So we're really excited about that. HLiquidity TVL is up around 114.8% to 1.62 million. Saucer Swap has launched the Lari Epoch 27, which started yesterday. As part of that Epoch, if you're supplying liquidity to various pools on Saucer Swap, they're giving away 157,000 HBAR, 372,000 sauce tokens, and 107,000 pack tokens, and 10,000 of the HLiquidity token, HLQT. Hedera has announced a new HIP called Blockstreams. Blockstreams is something that a lot of folks in the developer community are really excited about in terms of creating sort of a single output format for a number of different aspects of reaching consensus on the network. Definitely go check out HIP 1056. Leave comments if you're a developer. Check out what it's about. It's definitely an exciting one. Serial Finance, they did a snapshot for their INO whitelist for an INO that's coming up. Serio is a lending protocol. Also on Hedera, they did that on November 18th, and their NFT sale is coming up as well. And then Headstarter had a DeFi Llama integration, and they just hit 1.81 million in TVL as well. Headstarter is like a launchpad and accelerator for Hedera ecosystem projects and businesses. And again, that ties back into wanting to see businesses in this economy thrive and have a place to go to be able to successfully launch. And so kudos to Headstarter on that.
Well, like we said before, it seems like we're moving in the right direction on all different fronts. Is there anything you have as far as your DeFi thought of the week before we let you go?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to sort of the points earlier around businesses coming in and setting up shop on Hedera and sort of the greenfield opportunity that exists. As mentioned before, there's a ton of gaps still that exist for the DeFi ecosystem, and other types of integrations like token management, various ecosystem integrations across DeFi, yield aggregators, things of that nature. What I really hope to see is more developers looking at Hedera as a viable EVM network to come and build on and set up their business, help support the ecosystem to continue to grow larger. And I guess the call to action for that is, for anyone who is building on Hedera, and I feel like everybody does a pretty good job of this already, but for anybody who's building on Hedera, just continuing to be very inviting of new developers that are coming in, and trying to support them and help them out. And we've got this hackathon, Hello Future Hackathon 2.0, that's being run right now as well by the Hedera org and in combination with Angel Hack. And so hopefully they've got some great prizes. Hopefully they get more devs interested, and people join that as well.
Well, I've always felt that compared to our market cap, our builders punch way above their weight. And if we can get some more in here, I think we're going to do that much better. Brady, thank you so much for swinging by today and giving us the information on our DeFi ecosystem.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.